All around the world, there is always this one particular lake that changes the conversation. Someone smiles awkwardly. Someone tells you not to stay after sunset. Someone says, "It's beautiful during the day, just don't be there at night." What's fascinating is that these stories exist almost everywhere. America, Scotland, Australia, Hong Kong, South Africa. Different cultures, different religions, different languages. Yet somehow, they all tell almost the same story. A body of water, where something never left. And in certain places, the water itself seems to have developed a reputation. Not because of science, not because of weather, but because people simply keep disappearing. Tonight, we're traveling around the world. 7 lakes, 7 legends, 7 places where locals say the water remembers. Welcome to the podcast, You Can't Unhear. Number 7. Bride's Pool, Hong Kong. At first glance, Bride's Pool doesn't look haunted at all. It actually looks peaceful. Hidden inside a lush forest in Hong Kong's New Territories. Crystal clear water flows through smooth rocks. Small waterfalls echo through the trees. Families picnic there. Photographers love it. It almost feels too beautiful. But locals know this place by another reputation. They believe someone is still waiting there. Long ago, a young bride was being carried through the mountains in a traditional wedding procession. She wore a bright red wedding dress. Her family celebrated. Musicians played. Everything seemed perfect. Then, without warning, one of the men carrying her sedan chair slipped. The chair tumbled down the rocky hillside, straight into the water below. By the time everyone reached her, she was already dead. Some say she drowned before anyone could save her. Others believe her neck broke during the fall. Either way, she never reached her wedding. Since then, people claim her spirit never truly left. Late at night, visitors have reported seeing a woman in old-fashioned clothing sitting beside the pool. Sometimes she's brushing her long black hair. Sometimes she's simply staring into the water. If anyone walks toward her, she disappears. Others claim they've heard crying echoing through the valley, despite nobody else being there. The strange part is that even skeptical hikers admit something feels different after sunset. The forest becomes unnaturally quiet. The temperature suddenly drops. Even birds stop singing. Whether it's only imagination or grief that somehow settled into the landscape, Bride's Pool remains one of Hong Kong's most famous haunted places. Number 6. Devil's Pool, Australia. Unlike most haunted places, Devil's Pool doesn't rely only on ghost stories. It has an actual body count. Hidden within Babinda Boulders National Park, this beautiful stretch of water attracts tourists every year. Smooth granite rocks, fast-moving streams, perfect swimming weather. It looks inviting, which makes the warning signs even stranger. They don't simply tell visitors to be careful, they tell them not to enter. Because over the years, dozens of people have died here. Many were experienced swimmers, some were locals. Others ignored the warning signs because the water looked calm. Then, they never came back out. The local Yidinji people have a different explanation. They speak of a young woman named Ulana. According to the legend, Ulana fell deeply in love with a young man from another tribe. Their relationship wasn't allowed. Heartbroken, she threw herself into the water. Her spirit, they say, still remains. But she doesn't seek revenge. She seeks company. Many survivors describe something unsettling. Instead of panic, they suddenly felt calm, almost hypnotized, as though the water itself was inviting them closer. Some said they heard a woman's voice. Others described seeing someone standing among the rocks, only for that figure to vanish moments later. Scientists explain the deaths through powerful underwater currents and hidden rock formations. The local Aboriginal community doesn't disagree. They simply believe those currents have never truly been empty. Number 5. White Rock Lake, Texas. Now imagine, you're driving home late at night. The roads are empty. Streetlights reflect across the lake. Then, you see someone, a young woman, standing alone beside the road. She's completely soaked, hair dripping wet, barefoot, shivering. You stop. She tells you her car went into the lake. She asks if you can drive her home. Of course you agree. She climbs into the back seat and gives you an address. You drive there in silence. When you arrive, you turn around. She's gone. The seat is soaking wet. Confused, you knock on the front door. An elderly couple answers. Before you even finish explaining, they quietly nod. Then they tell you, you're not the first person. According to local legend, their daughter drowned in White Rock Lake years earlier. Ever since, drivers have continued picking her up, always wearing the same dress, always soaking wet, always asking to go home, and always disappearing before anyone can say goodbye. The story became so widespread that newspapers reported similar encounters throughout the 20th century. Some dismissed them as urban legends. Others insisted they had personally experienced it. Even today, people still claim to see a lone woman standing beside White Rock Lake after dark, waiting patiently, as though she still believes someone is finally going to take her home. Number 4. Loch Ness, Scotland. If someone says Loch Ness, most people immediately think of one thing: the monster, Nessie, a giant creature supposedly living beneath the surface. But what's interesting is that Nessie isn't actually the oldest legend connected to this lake. Long before blurry photographs, tourist boats, and souvenir shops, people already believed something lived here. The earliest written account dates back to the 6th century. According to legend, an Irish missionary named Saint Columba encountered a group of villagers burying a man. They claimed he had been attacked by a terrifying creature inside the loch. When another man entered the water, the creature appeared again. Saint Columba supposedly raised his hand, made the sign of the cross, and ordered it to leave. The creature then disappeared beneath the water. Whether you believe that story or not, it's fascinating that people were describing something in Loch Ness more than 1,000 years before cameras existed. And to be fair, the lake itself certainly doesn't help. Loch Ness is enormous, more than 230 meters deep in some places. Its dark, peat-filled water makes visibility almost impossible. Even today, scientists admit they still don't know everything hiding beneath its surface. Over the years, thousands of people have claimed to see strange shapes moving through the water. Some describe humps, others describe long necks. Some insist they saw nothing more than an enormous shadow gliding silently beneath their boat. Modern sonar surveys have never proven Nessie exists. DNA studies suggest there is no unknown prehistoric reptile living there. Yet the sightings continue. Perhaps that's because Loch Ness doesn't need a monster to be unsettling. Stand beside it on a foggy morning when the water is perfectly still, and you'll understand why legends survive here. Some places are mysterious enough without needing proof. Number 3. Lake Fundudzi, South Africa. Hidden deep within South Africa's Limpopo province, there is a lake many locals consider alive. Lake Fundudzi is sacred to the Venda people. And unlike many haunted locations, this isn't somewhere locals avoid because they're afraid. They avoid it because they believe it deserves respect. According to Venda tradition, the lake was created after a travelling leper asked villagers for food. Everyone rejected him. Everyone except one family. The old man thanked them and then revealed his true identity. Some say he was an ancestral spirit. Others believe he was a divine being. Moments later, the entire valley flooded. The selfish villagers disappeared beneath the water. Only the kind family survived. From that day forward, the lake became sacred. Even today, many Venda elders perform traditional ceremonies before approaching the shoreline, and visitors are encouraged to greet the lake respectfully. Some older traditions even say you should never look directly across the water when you first arrive. Instead, you're meant to face away, bend forward, and look at the reflection upside down between your legs. The ritual is called ukodola, meant to show humility. Because according to local belief, the lake is watching you, long before you're watching it. People have reported hearing drums echoing across the water late at night. Others claim they've seen strange lights moving just beneath the surface. Scientists attribute many sightings to natural reflections, mist, and unusual acoustics. The Venda people simply smile. For them, the lake doesn't need to prove anything. It has been sacred for generations, and perhaps that's more important than convincing outsiders. Number 2. Lake Lanier, Georgia. If you've never heard of Lake Lanier, I'm telling you that the numbers alone are enough to make people uncomfortable. More than 700 deaths since the lake was created. Some years, multiple people drown within weeks of each other. Experienced swimmers, boaters, divers, children, adults. The lake has earned such a reputation that many locals refuse to enter the water alone. But the real story begins before there was ever a lake. Back in the 1950s, the United States government decided to build the Buford Dam to create a massive reservoir. Entire communities had to disappear. Families were forced to relocate. Churches were abandoned. Roads vanished. Even cemeteries had to be moved. Thousands of graves were relocated, but not all of them. Some remained beneath the rising water. Entire foundations, stone walls, bridges, and forgotten roads still sit at the bottom of Lake Lanier today. Divers who've explored the lake describe an underwater maze. Tree branches, collapsed buildings, concrete structures. Visibility often drops to almost zero. Imagine swimming, then suddenly brushing against a staircase that once belonged to somebody's home. Many accidents have perfectly reasonable explanations. Alcohol, poor visibility, hidden debris, strong currents. But then, there are the stories. Stories that refuse to disappear. The most famous is known simply as the Lady of the Lake. According to local legend, in 1958, two young women named Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts drove across a bridge late at night after a party. Their car disappeared. Nobody knew what happened. 1 year later, a woman's body was discovered floating in the lake. She wore a blue dress, with one hand was missing. Police couldn't identify her. Then, 30 years later, workers discovered a submerged car. Inside were the remains of the second woman. DNA finally confirmed that the unidentified body found decades earlier belonged to Delia. But by then, stories about the woman in the blue dress had already spread across Georgia. Drivers claimed to see her walking along the bridge. Fishermen reported a woman standing near the shoreline before vanishing. Divers described feeling someone grabbing at their legs beneath the water. Whether coincidence or folklore, Lake Lanier has become one of America's most infamous haunted lakes. A place where history and tragedy lie beneath the same surface. Number 1. Lake Superior, United States and Canada. If you've ever looked at a map of North America, Lake Superior doesn't really look like a lake. It looks like an ocean. In fact, it's the largest freshwater lake on Earth by surface area. Over 31,000 square miles. So large that storms here create waves taller than houses. Ships disappear. Weather changes within minutes. Fog rolls in without warning. Locals have a saying, Lake Superior never gives up her dead. It's a strange sentence, especially because there's some science behind it. The lake stays incredibly cold, often just a few degrees above freezing. Bodies sink and decomposition slows dramatically. Many victims never resurface. Over 6,000 shipwrecks are believed to rest beneath these waters. Hundreds have never been found. Entire crews simply vanished. Perhaps the most famous tragedy happened in 1975. The cargo ship Edmund Fitzgerald. It stretched over 220 meters, one of the largest ships on the Great Lakes. On November 10th, it encountered a violent storm. Radio communications suddenly stopped. Minutes later, the ship disappeared. 29 sailors gone. No distress call. No survivors. Divers eventually located the wreck, broken clean in two, lying deep beneath the lake. To this day, nobody knows exactly what happened. Some blame rogue waves. Others blame structural failure. But sailors who spend enough time on Lake Superior often tell different stories. They speak about hearing voices carried across empty water, lights appearing where no boats exist, compasses behaving strangely. Some refuse to whistle on board. Others refuse to speak the names of certain wrecks aloud. Not because they're superstitious, but because, after enough years on the lake, they stop laughing at the stories. Water has always been dangerous, but some places feel as though they've watched thousands of people disappear and simply never forgotten them. The final lake. Rupkund, India. At nearly 5,000 meters above sea level, hidden inside the Indian Himalayas, lies a tiny glacial lake. Most of the year, it's frozen solid, beautiful, silent, almost untouched. Then, every summer, something begins to appear beneath the melting ice. Bones. Hundreds of them. Human skulls, ribs, legs, entire skeletons, scattered around the shoreline, as though death arrived all at once. When British forest rangers discovered the site in 1942, their first thought was terrifying. They believed they'd found the remains of a secret Japanese military invasion during World War II. But the bones were far older. Scientists eventually counted more than 600 skeletons. Some still had hair attached. Some still wore fragments of clothing, leather sandals, wooden staffs, jewelry. For decades, nobody knew who they were or how they died. Then, DNA studies completely changed everything. The skeletons didn't all come from the same group. Some were over 1,000 years old. Others were separated by centuries. Multiple groups of people had died in exactly the same place. One theory suggests pilgrims crossing the mountains. Another points toward traders. Others believe they became trapped during sudden blizzards. But then forensic scientists noticed something unusual. Many skulls had identical circular fractures. Not sword wounds, not arrows, not animal attacks. The injuries came directly from above, almost perfectly round. Researchers proposed a bizarre explanation. Massive hailstones, some nearly the size of cricket balls. Imagine standing at almost 16,000 feet above sea level. Now imagine rocks of ice falling from the sky. No shelter, no escape, just impact after impact, until nobody remained standing. Local folklore, however, offers another explanation. The mountain belongs to the goddess Nanda Devi. According to legend, a king once led a lavish procession through sacred land. Music, dancing, celebration. The goddess viewed it as disrespect. She answered by raining death from the heavens. To the villagers, the skeletons aren't a mystery, they're a warning. Maybe that's what fascinated me most while researching this episode. Every country has different backgrounds, but nearly all of them tell stories about lakes, where people believe something remains. Sometimes it's grief. Sometimes it's tragedy. Sometimes it's simply memory. Because unlike buildings, water never keeps its shape. It moves, it changes, it hides. It covers entire villages, shipwrecks, cemeteries, families, and secrets. Whether you believe in ghosts, spirits, or nothing at all, there's something undeniably unsettling about standing beside perfectly still water and realizing you have absolutely no idea what's looking back from underneath. So if you ever travel somewhere new, and a local quietly tells you to not stay by the lake after dark, maybe they're trying to protect you. Or maybe they're simply respecting a story that has survived far longer than anyone can remember. Thank you for joining me on this journey around the world's most haunted lakes. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, don't forget to follow You Can't Unhear, because every week we uncover another story that blurs the line between history, folklore, and the things we still can't explain. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.